We're fighting for a kingdom. We're not going through what we're going through just for the hell of it. We're fighting for a kingdom. We're fighting for everlasting life. We're fighting for righteousness to rule once again on the earth. We're fighting for our power, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, to set things back up in the proper order.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great example to his younger brothers. And peace and blessing, salutations to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners that have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. And what I want to get into today, all right, as another lesson, just going to daily news and prophecy, man. It's a lot going on, and we was commanded, to be watchmen and to look out, for particular things, engaging it through the scriptures, concerning, the second coming, all right, of Yahweh Shai. All right, so we're going to get straight into the scriptures. I got a few articles I want to read, and Lord will, you brothers and you few sisters are edified. Now, this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9, verse 1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. So when we look at current events, when we keep up with particular things, we're measuring the time. And the time of what? The second coming of Yahushua. All right. And it says, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So as we look, for certain, situations and circumstances, in the earth, it's it's a indicator of how close we are, to the end, all right, to the destruction of this society and the beginning, all right, of a righteous kingdom to come. You see, everything, is hinging off the second coming of Yahushua, because that's when, all right, the elect will be changed and delivered, and wickedness, all right, will be overthrown, completely. All right, but we're in the build up, to that moment. All right, verse 3 says, therefore, when there shall be earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days which were before thee, even from the beginning. And that's what we seeing mainly is these uproars of the people. There's always some type of riot. There's always some type of protest. There's always some type of, insurrection, and people are unpleased with the decision making of the government. And, you got coups going on, civil war, between nations, man. The earth is in an uproar. The whole earth is in the uproar, man. And everyone's awaiting, this latest, propaganda, with the case of George Floyd and Derek Chauvin, whatever his name is, So that uproar is a big indicator of what times that we are in, man. Earthquakes are everywhere, all type of, diverse places that the scriptures say, So let's get that in Luke, and we go into the articles. Now, when you get Luke chapter 21 and 28. All right. And it says, this Luke 21:28, it says, and when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. So these things that we're seeing coming to pass, is showing us how close we are to being redeemed, being brought out this situation. All right, because that's what Yahushua is coming to do. The Redeemer is coming to buy us out. All right, this situation, man. All right, to bring us back, to that glory, man. And out of captivity. So, let's start with this article here. All right, it says social media plays key role for domestic extremism. FBI director says. He said, Washington, it says social media companies play a central role in disseminating the messaging of domestic violence extremists in the U.S. FBI Director Christopher Wray said Wednesday, likening the role platforms play in the spread of extremist thought to foreign back online political disinformation. And, a lot of brothers, channels been getting striped, about what they call medical, misinformation. You see, or you hear that term disinformation. All right. So we know at the end of the day, they're setting it up, to get more control of these different social outlet medias, which YouTube, is really a social media, based on videos, man. You see? So we know, all right, that Esau, is making a case, all right, that the these social media platforms have to be more monitored, man, because this thing is going into a police state, all right, just like you see in China. America is working its way, all right, to that communist, dictatorship, type of society, man. It's coming. All right. It says social media has become in many ways the key amplifier to domestic violent extremism, just as it has for malign foreign influence. Mr. Ray said in the annual worldwide threats. Mr. Ray said in the annual worldwide threats hearing held by the Senate Intelligence Committee. So it's a worldwide, threats hearing. So they're saying, social media things, the things that are taking place on social media, is a worldwide threat, situation. Here it is. All right. These, all right, FBI, CIA, they're known for funding, terrorism, CIA known, everything. They even got movies in theaters, like that movie Self Made with Tom Cruise, showing how the CIA was over the cartel, bringing the drugs in, from Central and South America, dealing with Escobar, man. You see? So here it is. They'll make it seem like this random guy, they got a Facebook account, Twitter account, like he's some global threat to society, but here it is. They have the resources, they have, the control. They have way more control over the media, than some random guy with a Twitter account, where they're making it seem like it's a great problem in the earth, social media. And see what's happening, they're being exposed on these different media outlets. They just want to control the narrative, man. All right. But the scripture called Esau Edom a damn hypocrite, man. Because all this man does is spread disinformation in his media. All right. In his media, in his school system. His school system is disinformation, man. All right. The interpretation of the Bible through Christianity. There's disinformation, man. You see? But now, all right, when you read Job 4:14 and 5, it says, seeing his days are determined, all right, the number, all right, of his months are with thee, and thou has appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. Yeah, so Esau Edom kingdom is limited. And what he's trying to do is extend his kingdom, all right, past his limitations. It's not going to happen, man. And then you read Job 20:5. It said that I started 4. It says, knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. You see, the joy of the hypocrite is for a moment. See, that moment is almost up, man. And this man is very, all right, hypocritical, man. You see, he triumphed in deception and deceit. But now what's happening? Man, he's been exposed. Like the scriptures say, he can't hide himself. You see, now he's been exposed on the all-time high. You see, now he wants to control, all these media outlets, man. Because why, man? It's too much damaging information to his agenda coming out, man. That's why he's striking, brother Chandler to death, man. You see? But he out of there. All right? So, and we know, pertaining to us, what this is going to lead to. All right? Even when you go to, go back to Luke. I think it's in the same chapter 21, you know. Cause this is all, end time prophecies, man. You know. This is Luke 21 and 17. And it says, well, I started 12. All right. Well, I started 10. Just read all of it. All right. It said this is 21. Luke 21:10 said, then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. And that's what we're seeing on a continuous basis, man. I was just reading, how Russia, all right, just cut off, Ukraine's access to the Black Sea. They shut down one of them straits was for the next 6 months and said, no one has access over here, man. They told America it wouldn't be in their best interest to come over there, man. Try to interfere with what's going on. Like scripture say, dealing with these American Edomites and their military, they can never keep it at home, man. And it says, verse 11, and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, just like we read, in Second Ezra, the 9th chapter. All right, Yahushua speaking of these same signs, before his second coming. It says, and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines, and pestilence, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from the heaven. And we see famines increasing. All right, these pestilence, you got all these different variant strands, that's supposed to be more contagious and this and that. It's a lot, going on, man. And you said, verse 12 said, but before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. Yeah, because, eventually they just gonna come get particular brothers, man. You see, you gonna go from striking pages to, Esau pulling up, man. All right. Everything is based on gradualism, man. He gonna go from striking pages to actually pulling up, man, and grabbing brothers up. All right, and we're gonna be, brought before particular, politicians and leaders and whoever else, and they're gonna want us to expound on what we believe. All right, verse 13 it says, and it shall turn to you for a testimony. Settle it therefore in your hearts, not to meditate before what ye shall answer. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. Yeah, man. So in that time, the spirit is gonna, whatever brothers get snatched up, and the brothers have to, give a testimony, all right, concerning Yahushua. Well, the spirit gonna be real heavy, on brothers at that time, man. That's in that situation, man, and they're gonna confound, these wicked, all right, leaders that they're brought in front of, man. They're gonna absolutely confound them. They said they're not gonna be able to gainsay nor resist. That means they're gonna be completely confounded, by the testimony that Yahushua puts on the spirit of those particular brothers that are in those situations. And it says, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. Yeah, because what was they having? They had a worldwide threats hearing. Hey, when Esau really pushes the propaganda that we're the problem, it's gonna be a worldwide thing. It's gonna be a global thing. All right, we're gonna be hated by majority of the earth, man. That's why, if you in this spirit where, you always trying to save your ego, hey, you gonna catch hell, all right, and trying to get through these times, man. That's why hey, brothers go hard about not having these inflated egos and these different personalities, their YouTube celebrity spirit. You see, because we finna be put to open shame globally, man. All right. It said, but there shall not an hair of your head perish. Yeah, there gonna be some men that's gonna be completely reserved. Some men will have to be, will be put to death. All right. But what do Yahushua say? Be faithful unto death. All right. And he was going to give us a crown of life. So at the end of the day, all right. At the end of the day, however it play out, we just got to fully, all right, give judgment to the hand of Yahweh Shema Shah, whether we live or die, whether we're preserved, until the time of change, or whether we have to, lay down our life, but we're going to give judgment to Yahweh Shema Shah, because even in death, that's not going to separate, the 144,000 from being joint heirs, with Yahweh Shah. All right, it's not going to separate the believers from getting on those chariots, and partaking, and establishing, all right, New Jerusalem in the earth, man. A new rulership. You see, and it says, "In your patience possess ye your souls," and this is a thing of patience, man. Because it's when you look at what's going on. All right, it still requires patience. Even though it's a lot going on, we still, all right, prepare, ourselves to ride this thing out, to endure for the long haul. But always be, on point, on edge. You see, however long it might play out, man. Another 2 years. It might be another 6 months. Another 3 years. We don't know, but we know we're very close, man. It don't take long for things to spiral out of control. All right. So I wanted to touch on this too. Now it was supposed to be another mass shooting in Indianapolis. All right. Now it said, this is from CNN. 5 things you need to know. This is 8 people are dead after a shooting last night at the Indianapolis FedEx facility. Several others have been taken to the hospital, all right, with gunshot wounds. Police believe the shooters took his own life. How ironic, and say there is no active threat at this time. The shooting happened around 11 p.m. local time, and witnesses at the facility say they saw a man firing an automatic rifle as many as 10 times. Now, that's the thing that got me. Now, they say they heard a rifle fire about 10 times. But they said 8 people are dead. All right, and several others have been taken to the hospital. So, if he shot 10 times, let's say he shot 12, 13 times. All right, for someone to shoot 12, 13 times and 8 people are dead, that guy has to be a marksman, man. Because not only, all right, is he not shooting a lot of rounds and killing a lot of people, not only, is he, able to hit people, all right, kill 8 people, with not a lot of rounds, but if he's killing people with 1 bullet, all right, he has to know where to shoot them at, because if somebody just randomly shooting, all right, some YouTuber who's getting, disinformation, and he just pops up and just starts spraying the place down, he's not gonna be that accurate, man. All right, with what they say reported was 10 shots, and let's say it was 20 shots. Well, if you have 8 people dead and several others injured, that means he was hitting everything with every shot, man. So, I just thought that was interesting, just throwing that out, But we know at the end of the day, it's an agenda to the madness, man. All right? It's a method to the madness, man. Order out of KO. All right? And it says, they saw a man firing an automatic rifle as many as 10 times. Information is still coming in about the situation, but officials say they have no indication of the motive. The incident is the latest mass shooting in the United States in recent weeks. You can follow the latest updates here. Yeah, so they don't know the motive now. But since he's dead, all right, since he shot himself, he killed himself supposedly, they can just make up a motive. So just be on the watch for that. It'd be interesting to see, what they say this guy's motive was. All right, so let's go from there. Let's get another article, man. All right, yep. Now, this from Blacklisted News, and it says Biden's trillions spark historic labor shortage. record 42% of businesses can't fulfill jobs opening. All right, because they're deliberately crashing the middle class and destroying, all right, small independent businesses, man. You know, these stimulus checks. See, let me let me get this precept. You know, it come this is, a precept for this time, specifically for this time, man. Dealing with Esau Edom, man. All right, because he always pops up like he's just this, all loving, all caring. He's so concerned about every single living thing on earth. He comes with that, with that provider. You know, but this man is the complete devil, man. This is Sirach 14:7. It says, and if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. Yeah, because people, especially Jake in the hood, they call Joe Biden Moneybag Joe. Talking about Jake pumping, Joe Biden pumping money into the streets, and Joe cutting the check, and Eve all at the Mexican restaurant, margaritas, and quesadillas everywhere. You see, everybody look at Joe Biden, especially Jake, as if he's just really for the people. But here it is. All right, what he's doing is causing these small businesses to go under, man. And we're gonna get into the article. So it seems that they're doing good, like they're for your behalf, man. But see, on the grand scheme of things, he's working wickedness, man. You know. All right. It says last week. It said last week we made a remarkable observation. Despite some 100 million Americans not in the labor force, of which 94 million don't want a job, there is now a full-blown labor shortage in the U.S. for one simple reason: trillions in Biden stimulus are now incentivizing potential workers not to seek gainful employment. Yeah, because there's people making more money. They'll have more money coming in now, than they did when they was working. You see, if you had a $10 hour job, well, you're making more money now. They constantly waiving, the mortgage and rent. You still getting, the unemployment. Every time it comes to an end, they vamp it back up. Plus, you're getting these stimulus checks on top of that, man. So you can be getting 4, 5, 6, 700 a week off of unemployment, and then every now and then they'll splash the pot with another $1,400 stimulus. Then if you got kids, you get the bonus, for each child. So there's people, that are making way more money, staying at the house, all right, than going back to work, man. So people not trying to go back to work, man. Why? Because they're incentivizing people to stay at home, man. But it's all an agenda. All right, he's doing nothing for your behalf, man. And it says, but to sit back and collect the next stimmy check for doing absolute nothing is in what is becoming the world's greatest under the radar experiment in universal basic income. You see? And it says early in the Crown Royal pandemic, Melissa Anderson laid off all 3 full-time employees of her jewelry making company, Silver Chest Creations, in Burkesville, Kentucky. She tried to rehire one of them in September and another in January as business recovered, but they refused to come back. She says they're not looking for work, and that's going to destroy these small businesses, man. You see, it's about to destroy, all right, these little mom and pop, these little family businesses, man. They're not going to hold up. They're being specifically targeted, man. All right, remember what the scriptures say, all right, concerning Esau, Edom. Remember, this is who we're dealing with. All right, Genesis 3:1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah had made, and he said unto the woman, yeah, have the Most High said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the main point was that the serpent, which was a man, All right, and the spirit that was within the serpent, was in Cain, and it came back. That same energy and spirit came back within Esau, and this is the nation that's ruling the earth today. So these Edomites, all right, were described in the scriptures for being more subtle than any beast of the field, any of these other heathens. Man, he's very subtle in what he's doing. He can seem like he's helping you on the surface, but internally he's destroying you. All right. Come on, man. All right. It says let me go back. All right. It says Sierra Pacific. It says Sierra Pacific Industries, which manufactures doors, windows, and millwork, is so desperate to fill openings that it's offering, all right, hiring bonuses up to $1,500 at its factories in California, Washington, and Wisconsin. These companies getting desperate, man. But ain't nobody, who would go back to work if they're making more money? That's common sense. And people not, dumb for doing it, because this place over with anyway. Ain't like, it's gonna be you get a job and you get to save up a retirement, and you know, like America just has a future. America has no future anyway. Well, what they're doing, they're conditioning people to be at the house, man. They really paying them to stay at home while these businesses go under, man. And then they're gonna move to the next phase, because when these jobs disappear, then you gonna have to depend on them. It's one thing, to be able to turn a job down, but pretty soon ain't gonna be no jobs to turn down. You're gonna have to fully depend on, your boy. All right. And it says, and all he's doing is getting more leverage on the masses of the people, man. It says in rural Northern California, the Red Bluff Job Training Center is trying to lure young people in with extra large pieces in hope that some would stop by. Some who stop by can be persuaded to fill out a job application. We're trying to get inside their heads and help them find employment. Businesses would be so eager to train them, said Kathy Garcia, the business services and marketing manager. There are absolutely no job seekers. Even more amazing, a stunning 91% of small businesses surveyed by the NFIB said they had few or no qualified applicants for job opening in the past 3 months, tied for the third highest since the question was added to the NFIB survey in 1993. One of the favorite labor market metrics, the so-called take this job and shove it indicator, or the quit rates from the JOLT survey, is the latest confirmation of how empowered workers feel. In March, the number of people quitting jobs hit 2.3% of overall employment. In January, just a tenth of a percent point below the record going back to 2001. But what is most striking is the context of these figures. It says, recall that just 1 year ago, the unemployment rate was at Depression era 14.8%, and while it has since dropped to 6%, it remains well above the 3.5% rate of January of February 2020 before the pandemic. So judging from jobless rates, which the Federal Reserve tracks closely, there's still plenty of slack in the labor market. All right. So, they're systematically, by incentivizing people not to go back to work, just destroying a lot of jobs on the market, man. Because pretty soon them businesses are going to have to go under. All right. And let's get this real quick, and we'll move on to the next article. All right. This is Zechariah 8 and 10. It says, for before these days, there was no hire for man. Yeah. There's no hire for man. And you have people not trying to go back to work. It ain't the job's not there. You got people not wanting to go to work, but it's going to come a time where those jobs just going to start disappearing off the market. Nor any hire for beasts. Neither was there any peace to him that went out or came in because of the affliction. For I set all men, every one against his neighbor. Yeah, and it's gonna get real violent out here, man. All right, it's gonna get real grimy out here, man. Because if you at the at the wheel of a wicked government, man, you see, and you depending on them for everything, they got all the leverage, man, and they're gonna use that to turn a lot of you people against each other, man. You know, they're gonna make some real harsh conditions in the earth, man. You know. All right, so let's go from there. All right, it's another from Blacklisted News. It says globalists will need another crisis in America as their reset agenda fails. Yeah, because you know what's happening. Like I say, a lot of the masses are still being fooled. You know, but there's a lot of resistance. You know, within people fully accepting. You know, this man's agenda, man. You know, and that's due to what? Mainly the spirit of Yahweh Shai that's in the earth and exposing, man. You know, really shine the light on this man. Then you have his own tongue falling upon him. You know, the different troopers, the different ex-doctors, these doctors coming out speaking against him, man, about what's going on. You know, people working different fields, and seeing firsthand what's going on. They're coming out and exposing. You see? So if there's a resistance set up against this man's agenda, and the scriptures go into that, we'll get it. All right. It said, it might sound like the U.S. exceptionalism to point this out, and how very dare I. But even if the globalist reset is successful in every other nation on earth, the globalists are still failures if they can't secure and subjugate the American people, which they will, on the elect, all right, like the scriptures say. Because we haven't, America hasn't seen the ultimate pressure yet. This is the beginning phases, all right, the beginning of sorrows, But when you go into the scriptures, this is Romans 11:4. It says, it's Romans 11:4. It said, but what saith the answer of the Most High unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. And that's a complete number, all right, of men. Beginning with those first fruits, 144,000. All right, 12,000 men out of each tribe. It's not going to bow down, all right, to this man agenda, no matter how harsh the circumstances get. You see, because circumstances are going to get way more harsh, and a lot of people, all right, going to fold, But as of now, there's a lot of people that's resisting this man's, all right, agenda, all right? And it says, the globalists are still failures if they can't secure and subjugate the American people. As I've noticed many times in the past, most of the world has been sufficiently disarmed. And even though we are seeing resistance in multiple European nations against forced things, all right, legislation and medical tyranny, it is unlikely that they will have the ability to actually repel a full-on march into totalitarianism. Most of Asia, India, and Australia are already well under control. Africa is almost an afterthought. Consider Africa is where many suspect, all right, things are tested. American represents the only significant obstacle to the agenda, and that's why it's gonna be so bad here. Because how much pressure they're gonna have to put in America, man, to really get people to fold. That's why it's gonna be very bad here. It said conservative Americans in particular have been a thorn in the side of the globalists for generations, and it really comes down to a simple matter of mutual exclusion. You cannot have an openly globalist society and conservative ideals at the same time in the same place. It is impossible. Conservatives believe in limited government, true free markets, individual liberty, the value of life, freedom of speech, private property rights, the right to self-defense, the right to self-determine, freedom of religion, and the non-aggression principles. We won't harm you unless you try to harm us. None of these ideals can exist in a globalist world because globalists, all right, is at the core. At its core is the pursuit of full centralized tyranny. Yeah, and that's why you see them getting rid of all these small corporations and to only deal with these large centralized corporations. Your Walmarts, your Costco's, your Kroger's, your Amazons, everything else. All right, they're collapsing it on purpose, man. You see, and it says they crave power over all else. Yeah, because I remember these elitists want to be the most high. They want complete control. They want to control your thoughts. All right, it goes way more than just you not having any private land. No, they don't. They don't want you to have a private thought. All right. So it's a lot of clashing, even amongst these different, genders that they're pushing between these Edomites. You see, there's a lot of states, that's bucking up against, this transformer movement, man. When it comes to these sports, man. You see, so there's a lot of within Esau's Edom, kingdom. There's a lot of clashing of ideologies, man. All right, so let's get that real quick in Mark chapter 3. Verse this is Mark 3 and 22, and he called unto them. He said, and he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. Yeah, because we're in the time, all right, of this man's fall. Esau's kingdom wasn't meant to stand forever, man. He had a certain time of rule. Going back to what we said earlier, he has bounds and he cannot pass. So as he gets closer, to trying to accomplish his new world order, man, there's gonna be a division, all right, amongst them, all right, and they're gonna be in straits, And it says, and if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand, and that house, can go also into a lineage. All right, the lineage of Esau, Edom, his house is divided, man. All right, his lineages are divided. His seed is divided, man. These different Edomites, And it says, verse 26, and if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. So this man has an end. You see, he's Esau Edom is at his end. All right, the end of his world, the end of his society, man. And he's catching a lot of flack. Trying to push forward this agenda. It says, they crave power over all else. They desperately want control over you, over me, over everything, and they will use any means at their disposal to get it. I will compare it to a kind of drug addiction. Globalists are like crack addicts. They can never get enough power. There was always something more to take. This nigga won't stop, man. That's why, we should be praying for the overthrow. All right. Like, we should be begging and screaming, all right, for this man's overthrow, because this nigga will not stop, man. He's going to continue to push the envelope, to get more and more control, man. You see? It said they themselves and others that they are, they themselves and others that they are philanthropists, that they know what is best for the rest. They believe themselves superior, and therefore it is their destiny to dictate and micromanage society for the greater good of us all. Yeah, this is him trying to be in the seat of the Most High. Micromanage, like I say, he wants to control your thoughts. He wants to control how much food you eat a day. Sex. How many children you produce. If you're allowed to have, he wants to be the one who opened and closed the womb of a woman. You see, that's how he wants to micromanage society. All right. It says, but really, when we witness their methods, it becomes clear that they have no noble aspirations. They have no empathy or honor. They don't care about the average human being or the environment or the economy of society in general. They only care about themselves and their delusions of grandeur. The people are a cancer. These people are a cancer uh, on the rest of civilization. Yep, and the scriptures speak on that. You know, when you go to I think it's Sirach the 10th chapter, it's around 11 verse. All right, this Sirach 10:10. It say the physician, which is Yahweh Shai, cutteth off a long disease. Yeah, man, Esau Edom is a living disease in the earth, man. You know, he corrupts, he destroys, you know, he you know, takes the value of everything down, man. You know, he can't just let nothing be. He interrupts everything. You know, all facets of life, he interrupts everything, man. You know, the nuclear waste in the water, destroying, polluting the air. He just interrupts, you know, things that are working fine. That's what this disease does. It interrupts, you know, your body from functioning efficiently. And that's what Esau is in the earth, man. He interrupts, you know, everything from functioning, you know, efficiently, man. All right. It said the physician cut off a long disease, and he that is today a king, tomorrow shall die. Yeah, so Esau Edom, all right, his rulership is about to die, man. And eventually, all right, in the kingdom after 1,000 years, he's gonna be completely, all right, that lineage is gonna be completely destroyed. You know? But it begins with cutting him off from rulership, man. You know? Because the earth under his rulership is in the worst case scenario, all right, that has ever been in. All right? And it says, unfortunately, um, it says they seem to be particularly obsessed with deconstructing and sabotaging America in the pursuit of their global reset. Real philanthropists would not have a problem if someone didn't want to accept their charity, but psychopaths cannot abide a group of people rejecting them and their ideology. You are not allowed to walk away from them. You are not allowed to do things your own way. You must be forced to comply. The agenda only works if everyone submits. And that's, you know, even with these mass things, you know, in the 6 feet is nothing but a big submission ritual, man. A satanic submission ritual, man. All right. It says, unfortunately for the globalists, the reset is not working out for them everywhere. In the U.S., the agenda is failing miserably compared to Asia and parts of Europe. As the head of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab is so fond of reminding us, the Crown Royal pandemic is the perfect opportunity to push forward the globalist plans for a total reset of human economy and society. Yeah. So in the economy, what are you going to use to buy and sell within this new economy? All right. And it said to the globalists, the crisis is a panacea, a doorway to their version of a better world. They love the pandemic. They are not distressed by it. The problem is it's not doing enough damage or terrifying enough people. Hey, because the main people, all right, they are terrified is you jakes, man. You know, when you go out and about, if you hang out with Esau with, man, Esau mask off chilling, man. You know, but it's Jake looking crazy. All you see them big ass eyes with all these different, you know, masks to match their outfit. You know, don't know what to do, man. Don't know what's going on. Jake terrified of this man's propaganda. You know, but you had the Edomites like the hell with it, man. You know, so there you have it, man. So I get this last precept. You know, I said all these are on blacklistednews.com. You know, you can go there, all right, and read all the articles, you know. But this man is in straits, and ultimately, you know, this word is going to prevail against this man. All right, prophecy will prevail against him. He through. All right, this is Job 20 and 22. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits, and every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Yeah, so he's finding himself in scrapes. He's having a difficult time, pushing certain propaganda because it's too much, it's too much truth in the earth, man. You see, his empire was established on lies. You go to that word in the Hebrew, all right, it was Yatazar, all right, Yatazar for scrapes, all right, and it said to suffer distress, to be cramped, all right, to be in scrapes, to be vexed, all right. That's why the scripture tell him, man, he's wearied in his counsel. Everything is not going exactly according to plan, man. He's really trying to throw this thing together, all right. He's really throwing this thing together as he go. Now he's crafty, all right. He has a lot of people, food, and he's messing over a lot of people in the earth, you know. There's still people, that fully believe his narrative, but then you have, a mass number that don't. And then you have the elect, all right, who fully understand and fully get it, man. Who going to be preserved, man. Even in death, the elect will be preserved, man. So this man, he's coming into scrapes, man. He's having a hard time really, accomplishing, what he wants to do. And he has a lot of things planned, I've been hearing a lot of talk about 2030. They plan to carry, particular things out. 2030 is supposed to be the year where they fully have it, where they want, man. But that's why we pray to Yahweh Bashim Al Shah to sake the time short, man. Let this man be disappointed way before then, But we see, like I say, he's in scrapes, man, especially in America. But that's why they're going to have to put so much pressure in America, man. And a lot of people going to fold, but only the elect, all right, will endure to the end, man, and not bow their knee, to Baal, man, this beast system, So that's the point. I hope you brothers and you few sisters are edified. Just want to bring some, some current events out. Keep keep us all on point, man. Being circumspect in these times. All right. So with that, once again, Shalom. Kwam Yasha Allah, Baba Ba, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Shah. DTA Baba Ba, Kwam Yasha Allah.